I'm jamming to Ina. This is Heartbreakers. Yeah. She's really hot too, but anyways, this is a really hot clown shoe. It's called the GTC4 Lusso T. It's a very long name too. I don't know why they come up with these names. But I just got this, and I think it's a pretty cool car to talk about. But you know what we're not going to do today? We're not going to talk about it. Because, I don't know, instead what we're going to talk about is why do I have it? And more importantly, what is it replacing? Because it's not replacing anything long term, so I'm going to get out of here. But first, I want you to hear this. Listen to the exhaust on this thing. It's got a full IPE exhaust with cats, delete, and all that shit. Sounds pretty good for a clown shoe and a turbo car. I mean, not that exciting, but I mean, you get the idea. And no, I did not just pick up a Lusso T as a new car. I actually modified this car a while back with the help of Wheels Boutique. Everything from Novitec suspension, IPE exhaust, and last minute put on these Velos wheels. It came originally with a set of Anarchies, but I preferred a polished look. Today though, what we're going to talk about is not the Lusso or White Special. I traded this car in when I sold my Pista. That's right, the world iconic Pista, the baby blue car, is finally sold. And before it leaves forever, or maybe, who knows, it might be back at some point, but for now it will be gone. And one of the key things we can do is perhaps talk a little bit about the cost of ownership, go into the office, take a look at it one last time, and more importantly, take a close look at the ownership of what I would say to be the most iconic Pista that has ever graced the earth. And while this GTC4 Lusso T is now my daily driver for the next month, and I'll explain why shortly, we'll talk about that another time after I spend a little bit more time with it so I can have a real review of it. But let's go inside and talk about mental masturbation and the Ferrari Pista a little bit more. All right, as I promised you guys today, we are going to be taking a look at the cost of ownership of the Ferrari Pista because time has come to say goodbye to what we call probably the most glorious Pista that was available anywhere. Now, you may have seen my post on Instagram selling this specific Pista and literally hashtagging it no peasant zone because all the peasants of Instagram came out attempting to buy it with what I call the fake mental masturbation clout. Meaning, oh yeah, I'm gonna DM you this deposit. Oh yeah, I'll take it. Oh yeah, this. All broke people. So stop following these people you glorify on Instagram when they can't even afford to send a 5K deposit. You know, there was a moment in my life where I literally learned this word that I want to teach you guys. It's called mental masturbation. It's something a lot of people on Instagram do, and it's something a lot of people in real life do. It's called this basic bullshit of pretending you can afford something so that those around you think you're better than they think you are. So in other words, imagine going into a dealership and being like, hey, I want to order a new Ferrari, but then never coming true with that. Do you ever see YouTubers like that? Do you ever see people that are like, I ordered this, the titles, I ordered that, but we never see the cars. Where are they at, homies? Where are your cars at? Same as the people on Instagram. Oh yeah, I just put in an order for this. I put in an order for that. I'm gonna do this. Where are the cars at? Oh yeah, right before I changed my mind. Of course you didn't. What happened is you were mentally masturbating and you got stuck on this idea in your head that the clowns around you made you feel good about it, right? So for that moment, you were like, me and my boys think I'm like really well off when you ain't got $5 in your pocket. So people, if you're mental masturbators on YouTube, or regardless they have a YouTube channel, or that you're an actual like viewer, or an Instagram fake celebrity with a little blue tick mark or something that made you feel better because you paid your boy $3K to put you on Forbes, like Forbes.news.yoursister.com, not actual Forbes.com, then you know, you need to rethink your strategy about life because mental masturbation is never good. At least if you're gonna pretend to be touching your dick, try to touch it. Anyways, we're going back to the Pista cost of ownership today. We are not talking about mental masturbation. We're talking about people that come up with some real money and pay some real money, not monopoly money or Bitcoin. So we are here to talk about what did it cost to own this car. This was, you ready for this? A $523,000 car. Now that's a lot of money, right? Because this is almost Pista. It's actually more than Pista Spider territory. There was $190,000, you ready for this, in just options on this Pista. This is one of the most loaded Pista that existed on Earth. Now, why is that? Well, the only option missing, this isn't a joke, this isn't like one of these exaggerations, the only option missing on this Pista were the $40,000 carbon fiber wheels, which would have brought this number to well at $570,000. So I want you to understand this. This is crazy. This is insane amounts of money for a Pista. This is what the attraction was to this car. It is a really, really, really insane spec of a car in an insane color. Lucky for me, I'm not an idiot. I purchased a car from Iluso over in California that ran the deal on this car, and the total payment for this car was $450,000. This was about a year and a half ago. So a year and a half ago, pre-COVID pricing going apeshit, I've been telling everybody to buy cars, nobody listened to me. I bought a car for $450,000, a car that literally was, if you see here, almost $80,000 back of sticker, in addition to having, you're ready for this, about $20,000 in aftermarket, which was from Novitec and from Capristo, etc., all on the car, right? In addition to that, I added about, I want to say about $3,000 worth of extra stuff, which is like PPF and stuff like that. So all in all, the car, an incredible car. I was in the car, I didn't install this 20K, came with the car, about $453,000. Now, what about repairs? What about maintenance? Well, there were no repairs and there were no maintenance. The car is still covered under 7-year Ferrari maintenance, and the car is still under full factory warranty, meaning there is zero cost of ownership in the car. An incredible car. The car was paid for in cash. There was no loan on the car. So in this final outcome, I bought the car back in February, right, of last year, which is quite a while ago. It's about, I want to say not 12, about 16 months or so ago, right? And today, the car has sold for two things. One, what I call a Lusso, the thing you saw outside, the Lusso T, right? Plus a payment that equals total of $530,000. $530,000 for a car that started at $453,000, basically giving us a little bit around, like, I want to say about an 80, like let's say 77K profit after driving the car 16 months. I'm not a finance genius, you do the math, you know, as to what that brings you. But this gives you an idea of how incredible this was. $77,000 in profit after driving that long. Now, before, again, the clowns come back with the taxes and the blah, 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 there's a strategy called the trade-in tax credit that allowed me to take this particular car at the time of purchase and literally transfer the tax from my previous car. So there was no tax on this particular car. And no, it was not a Montana registration either. This was a simple tax transfer. And as a result, there was zero tax fees or anything else. But and one of the things to consider here, this was a long time to own a car, about 16 months at $77,000 in profit. Still, I think, a very lucrative decision to buy the car. The only reason the car is getting sold, which I think it's well worth the $530, the issue with the car is that I have a bunch of new cars coming, not the mental masturbation kinds, the kind that actually show up. And as a result of that, I'm always buying even more cars, and it's very difficult to find space right now. So it just didn't make sense to keep this. Even the Lusso T will not be staying here, as I mentioned earlier. It is simply a trade for the moment. It will be sold, but I will do a small review of it because I haven't really had a chance to spend some time with it. So I'm gonna spend a month with it, and as a result, we'll be talking about it a little bit in some of the future videos. It's equipped, as I said earlier, with an IPE exhaust and some modifications, which makes it at least a little bit more interesting than this boring, like, clown shoebox. But still, I think a wonderful car all around to at least drive around for a month. Life could be worse, right, than having a Lusso T as a beater. But I wanted to, because of course Lamborghini is delaying my ERS, so it'll be here September instead of August, and I have 3 weeks without an ERS, which means I don't have a daily driver, and it's been raining, so I drive the Lusso. So the point that I was trying to make here is that making $77,000 on a car here, this particular case was somewhat of a strategy because I knew COVID prices would kick in and go up. If you refer back to my old videos, I've been predicting this for quite some time, but it is still very true for those of you that are going to complain that, well, you only got this money because the market is up. That is correct. In this particular case, you have to know when to cut loose, because I don't believe there is a lot of upside to this car. Meaning that while I do believe it will retain its value over 500, I don't believe car pricing on the Pista is going to drop significantly below 500, especially not for a tailor-made spec like this with painted shields. But I will tell you that I believe that I don't think this car will go to 6 to 650 or anything like that, but rather just retain its value. So it didn't make sense for me to hold the car any longer. My Ford GT, I believe, will continue to rise and continue to do well. As a result, I am not worried about selling that car now, because I still think there's value, even if I don't drive it, in keeping it. However, this particular car, even though I loved it, it was still one of my favorite designs of all time and one of my favorite specs of all time, just did not make sense to hang on to the car any longer. So there you have it, guys. This is the Pista cost of ownership. If you ever wanted a Pista right now, these are very real numbers that worked on a tailor-made car. It is not always the case on all Pistas. You can still buy very decent spec Pistas in the low 4s to mid 4s. Those would be more average cars with similar stickers. I have always been more interested in higher end stickers, better cars rather than the wholesale cars. And part of the reason I do that is because I don't want it to attract most of the clowns like you. People who can't afford cars, who want a deal. I hate doing business with peasants. If I hadn't made that clear, I hate it. I like doing business with people who know what they want and who know exactly what things cost and what they're willing to pay to get it, especially if it's the only one that's ever been available out there. So if you're a peasant, don't comment, because it's probably not going to end well for you. However, if you're someone who truly can own a Pista, this gives you a good view of what I was able to do in 16 months using Exotic Car Hacks principle. And again, don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and more importantly, click the link in the description and take the free training to learn how car hacking works. This is all the byproduct of having information and understanding about the market that most people didn't. Most people told you right before COVID, the markets are gonna crash, 2008 is coming back, and I told you can reference my old videos. Again, buy, buy, buy. I bought my green SVJ then, I made 100K on that. I bought this particular car then, I made 77,000 on that. I have been telling you guys, being in this market for the last 15 years, I've seen things that a lot of you guys aren't paying attention to, because this isn't a game of cars. This is a game of money, and that is where my specialty is. So in this particular case, a very clear example of how to make $77,000 drive-in a Ferrari Pista for 16 full months, and probably one of my best hacks anywhere. So I'm gonna go enjoy the little Lusso tea, even though it's kind of like gay in so many ways. And anyways, it's been fun, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe.